because it was not dropping the live. Like, it wasn't starting it on my side, even if it did actually start it. But anyway, hello, good morning. Figuring it out. So, I appreciate every single one of you. If you are the person, again, as I say this all the time, if you're one of the people that clicked on this video after it's been posted, you're secretly my favorite, because the videos don't always get a lot of views after they're posted. So if you happen to miss a live stream, there's always opportunities to go onto the live tab and click on the past live streams. That was also another really big added benefit from shifting from TikTok over to YouTube. So I appreciate every single one of you. Good morning. It is a beautiful day to defend democracy and free speech, to defend freedoms that we fought for, and to extend equity and equality to everyone. I know it is exhausting sometimes being a democracy avenger, but you know, it is the task of our time. So I'm glad to have you all here with me. So because it's Friday, I always kind of do something a little bit more lighthearted on Fridays, just because sometimes the news can be really monotonous and crazy. So I'm going to be talking about this specific one clip, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about more detailed things: media consolidation, corporations, greed, avarice, corruption. We'll get to all of that. Make sure to tap the screen. It really does help. If you can't share the live with people, tapping the screen, I think the average person can tap 3 times in a second. So that seriously means a lot, especially at the beginning, to help start out the stream. So good morning, Cantisa. Good morning, Akicha. Hello. Hello. So I always love seeing all good friends coming in here in the morning. So anyway, so fun story. I sometimes will wake up in the middle of the night, and because I'm a glutton for punishment, I go and check Twitter. I go and check X. And I love looking at all the clips that ASIN posts. And because ASIN's just posts a whole bunch of stuff. It's just raw coverage, and I really appreciate it. And this is just a moment from one of Trump's interviews recently that he had with Martha McCallum over on Fox Propaganda, Fox News. And he's, let me just read this out here, because I need you all to like also be with me trying to process all of this. This sis is gonna be hilarious. Strap in, y'all. Oh yeah, no, I'm ready. All right. This is what Trump responded to, or was in a clip with Martha McCallum over on Fox. He was talking specifically about prescription drug pricing. Now, as a little bit of credit, oh my God, I'm saying that, Trump says that he wants to reduce prescription drug prices. That's great. I think regardless of political affiliation, we can all say that's a fantastic idea. But like, he can't give the specific details, or he can't give any sort of action plan. I only have concepts, the concept of lowering the drug prices. So let me get to a specific quote here, okay? So in this interview, he said, you don't understand, you never will. We will be reducing drug costs over the next year, not by 50%, not by 60%, but by 1,000%. Because if you think a $10 pill, it will be raised from $10 to $20, because it's the world versus us. The world is a bigger place, so it will go from 10 to 20 for them, which is bearable, and it will go from 10 to 20 for us. Like, what? Hold on. Okay. So, let me just clear up this little brain fart here right now. First of all, yes, we need to lower drug prices. Please. If we adopt a universal healthcare system, maybe we can actually do that. That would be amazing. Where we all pay what we can into the system, and the rich pay significantly more. That's how a universal healthcare system works. It's based on your income level. Anyway, not going to get into that. I don't understand this Trump math, What I would say is, like, I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, hold on a second. Hold on. Hold on. Let me. I'm gonna move the comments aside so I can actually see this here. So he is saying, you don't understand. We'll be reducing drug costs not by 50%, not by 60%, but by 1,000%. Okay, if I go into the grocery store, I'm sitting right in front of a Harris Teeter, which is a grocery store in North Carolina, okay? If I go into a Harris Teeter and there is a bushel of apples, and that bushel of apples costs, let's just say $10, and it's 50% off. So that's gonna be $5. If that bushel of apples is discounted 100% off, then it's free. So if you do a 150, 200, 1,000% off, that means that they're paying you to take the bushel of apples. So is Donald Trump trying to say that he wants to pay Americans to take drugs? Is he saying that? Because, like, let me break down this Trump math for you. You might be like, this is extensive. Why have you done this? Oh yeah, no, I'm doing it, okay? And tap the screen. So Trump math says, I want to decrease the drug costs, not by 50%, but by 1,000%. All right, let's say that your prescription is $50, okay? If you do 50% off $50, it's $25. That's awesome. And then if it's 100% off, it's free. Now, if you do 150% off, that means that it's negative $25. So if you go to Walgreens, CVS, wherever to pick up your prescription, they're like, here, take the prescription and here's $25. Honestly, I'd love that. You know, like, okay, is Trump trying to get me to be on his side? Like, he wants to pay me to take drugs, okay, for my prescriptions. I'm on a prescription for my OCD. So, like, so, I mean, hey, listen, this is very socialist of him. This is very socialist of him. If he wants to provide free drugs, actually not even free, but like drugs, but paying people to take them, I'm like, okay. This is where I don't think that Trumpers actually understand the craziness. But let me go a little bit further. If you do 1,000% off a drug that costs $50, then it's negative $450, meaning that Walgreens, CVS, they're like, please take the prescription. We will pay you a $450. This is why people think America is a joke. This is why people view Donald Trump as a clown. Because he says this stuff without impunity. He just goes and just, let me tell you, people say they want to they want to reduce it by 50%, but I want to do, 100%, maybe 200, maybe 1,000%. Let me tell you, that's fantastic. That's America first. So immediately the internet was like, you know what? Like, let's, they were just clowning on him. These are the founders. Be like, how about in 249 years we try having a king that's only this time he's really effing dumb. Promise everything, deliver nothing, blame Biden. That is a 3-step program. I will pay good money for the reporter who finally stands up to him and just says, what the fuck are you talking about? How can you reduce prices more than 100%? Are you giving people their money back? Like, seriously. This person has a picture of Trump, and then in his brain area, it's the gulf of stupidity. I thought that one was good. Someone just posted a gif of Joe Biden being really, really old. And I was like, oh, this is so good. If you're enjoying the live stream, please tap the screen. It really does help the live. But then, Biden's debate where he just really, really old, was kind of slow, but he had like some good moments where he had just like confused faces at Trump's insanity. Yeah. That was a perfect response here. And this person responded, Trump retells the same dumb lies constantly. Repetition of the same things is Korsakov's syndrome, often associated with advanced Alzheimer's. I won the 2020 election. Gas is $1.98 in several states. Windmills cause cancer. Let me tell you, that noise just drives me insane. It gives you hearing cancer. You know, it goes meow, 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 and that's what the buffering noise sounds like in my brain. That's what it sounds like in my brain. I can't hear it anymore. I feel winded when I see them, and I just don't like it. I don't like it. You know, the propellers, they go crazy. You know, they make the sky look like with weird stars. That's what it looks like. You can't look at the prairies, make the prairies de-windmilled. We want to de-windmill the prairies. Even though someone told me that a windmill is different from a wind turbine. The windmills are the ones that make the grain. The turbines are the ones that actually make power, but I just say windmills. Oh, a super chat came in. I want to make sure to give some time for that super chat. I'm not seeing it. Hello? Where's the super chat? Someone put in a super chat, but I'm not seeing it. I appreciate every single one of you. Your description of Trump's vocal cords is excellent. Oh, thank you. Let me tell you, I think I'm fantastic. I think I'm one of the best, the greatest. You know, someone said that my Trump impression's a little bit zesty, but let me tell you, I think it's more a little bit dusty and crusty and musky, especially Elon Musky. I love my Elon Musk. You know, I love an Elon Musk. I put musk in my colognes. My colognes are the best smelling. You've never smelled a better cologne. I saw that there was a, oh, son has diabetes, cost of life is too high. Yeah, thank you for that super chat. And see, this is the thing, like, we're all struggling here. So when he says that he wants to lower drug prices, that's great. But how are you going to lower it 1,000%? And this is the thing. This really gets to one specific comment that I really want to drive home. There was one person that, in response to all of this, was like, look, these are elected political leaders. You know, these are not people that, an elected official should say what he means and mean what he says or she says. Like, this is the thing. People who are a part of MAGA think that it's just kind of a weird game. Oh, they're all there to just own the liberals, make the liberal tiers. This is the thing. Democrats, Republicans, regardless of your political affiliation, politics does not need to be this stupid juvenile thing. Okay? It really doesn't. Politicians should not be obnoxious in this way. Like, it might provide great TV, but it's not leadership. It's not representation. It's not results. It's not delivering policy that's actually going to be helpful for people. So the fact that we elected a clown like this, it's a loss for us in America, because it means that we're not serious about governance in this country. But I appreciate that super chat. I'm sorry about your son. I'm sending your family good vibes. Though going back to, it's just, Donald Trump cannot count. He cannot do math. His Trump, like, and this one person was like, they put it perfectly here. Let me see if I can find the thing here. So it's like, okay, so you're gonna lower drug prices so much that it becomes more expensive. So like, by Trump's logic, remember the second part of that saying? You can see how here it, like, ropes around. Basically, what in this saying he was saying, like, because you think of a $10 pill, it will be raised from $10 to $20 because it's the world versus us. The world versus us for them, which is bearable. So we'll go from 10 to 20 and we'll go from 10 to 20 for us. So you're saying that it's going to be a 100% price increase from $10 to $20 for a prescription that you're just talking about. Never giving specifics or anything like that, but I don't understand. And see, it also makes me think of this meme. I guarantee I've not even been looking at the chat. I just don't. And if you're angry that I don't read out the chat, I'm sorry, this is my live stream. I don't have to capitulate, and I do not have to read off your comments. I'm sorry, I don't. I'm sorry I missed the positive ones. The positive ones, the happy people, the not drama-seeking, rage-typing internet warriors. I'm sorry that I missed the positive comments. I love you all so much. But I guarantee that if I look at some of them, it's going to be some of this stuff. It's going to be these twisted logic. He didn't say that. Okay, well, maybe if he did, he didn't mean it. He didn't mean it like that. And if he did, then you just didn't understand it. And if you did, it's really not a big deal. And if it is, like, others have said worse. It makes me think of that one meme of the kid that's going... See, and this is the thing. You as a person do not have to defend the insanity of Donald Trump. You don't have to stoop to that level to do it. That doesn't mean if you become some crazy radical Democrat. I'm just saying you don't have to, like, bend yourself into a pretzel trying to rationalize the unrationable thing about Donald Trump. You don't have to. Have some respect for yourself. This is a guy who is not serious whatsoever. He's saying that you can lower drug prices by 1,000%. Like, what the actual fuck? You don't have to stoop so low and make your entire political identity covering for a guy who could not give a crap about you. Immediately, when Donald Trump was asked about one of his most ardent supporters, Charlie Kirk, being murdered, he immediately responded, oh, look at all the trucks. The trucks are coming in for my ballroom. They're bringing all the trucks. You can see the trucks coming in. Vroom, vroom. Vroom, vroom, bitch. Get out the way. Like, it's just, don't do that to yourself. Don't capitulate that low. He is a con man. He is a con man. He brainwashes people so much that they buy 47 shirts, 15 hats, 16 yard signs, and 5 Trump flags. And they're like, I'm not in a cult. Oh. And see, here's the thing. You don't have to agree with my takes or my opinions or anything like that, but have some respect for yourself. Don't just follow something that you're being told. Like, when it comes to things, like, I don't want you to just believe me. Like, fact check me. Give me some, it's so important for you to think critically on your own. But many people that are Trumpers are just intellectually lazy. Like, they don't actually want to take the time to go out and think critically on their own. They just don't. And so it leads to things like this, where they elect someone who does this kind of stuff. But going back here, I'm going to read it one more time, read out people's other comments, and then we're going to shift gears here, all right? You understand that we will be reducing drug costs, which, pause, that's something that everyone wants. I want a universal healthcare system. I want us to actually either regulate at minimum or just transform our system to being a single-payer healthcare system. Makes the rich pay disproportionately more. Universal healthcare. Anyway, he says, you understand that we will be reducing drug costs, not by 50%, not by 60%, but not by 100%, 200%, 250%. I love the numbers. But by 1,000%. Because if you think a $10 pill, it will be raised from $10 to $20 because it's the world versus us. The world is bigger. It's a bigger place. So it will go from $10 to $20 for them, which is bearable. And it will go from $10 to $20 for us. You're talking about reducing drug prices by 1,000%. And then you say talking about raising it from $10 to $20, which is a 100% increase. I don't understand the people that bend themselves. Like, you're gonna pull a muscle with the amount of stretching you gotta do to try to rationalize the unrationalizable. And so people were so quick to clown him over the internet. 1,000% decrease or 1,000% off would then mean a $50 drug would be $450 provided when you pick up your prescription. I don't think that Walgreens or CVS are going to want to dole out that much money. And so this person responded back with JFC. I thought that was funny too. And it's like, here you go. A $100 item that is 1,000% less would actually result in a negative price that would then be a final price of negative $900. So if I go out and I buy something for $100 and they say, oh, it's 1,000% off, that means that they're going to give me whatever that thing I purchased, but then also $900. So like, and so the ignorance and stupidity of this administration is unfathomable. This won't even make sense to the effing morons who like this effing moron. And like, it's so funny because there was one person, I want to address this one thing. This is a perfect response. So there is this person, hold on, where is it? Here we go. This person, L. Valle San Andreas XL, okay, says, these are aggressive or extreme syllogisms in oratorical grammar. They're sometimes used to emphasize or overemphasize a certain important event. Citizens know that POTUS is seeking a way to lower drug prices to historic levels within the U.S. Pause. No, we don't know that. He says that he wants to, but whenever you ask for specifics, he gives some weird crackpot answer like this. He said he had concepts of a healthcare plan. Like, no, we don't know that he's trying to do that. We know that he keeps saying it. If you want to actually reduce drug prices, do the barest of bare minimum, like what Joe Biden did. Put a cap on the price of 10 different prescription drugs, or put a cap on the price of insulin. But no, he just says it. If you say something, you have to follow it up with action to actually have it be tangible. You can't just say something and it be true. I know that if you're one of these Trump people, you might actually say, well, that's just my truth. Just because you say something doesn't mean it actually is true. Sorry. Just because I say that I have a pair of magic money pants does not mean that I actually do. That all being said, this person's just like, this duality of factors, high in the U.S., low outside the U.S., can cause some levels of confusion in audiences when the explanation uses a combination of phrases in both directions. This is the case. There is no mistake. Sweetheart, you must be Gumby. You know those little toys? Because you are being pulled in all different directions. You are really trying to, like, you're going to tie yourself into a Gordian knot trying to rationalize this insanity. You can't do that. This person's like, oh, Trump's just being dramatic to make a point about trying to lower drug prices. And you can see, I took this at 3 a.m. in the morning. There's look at the likes ratio versus comments. And these people were like, the problem with your statement is citizens know that POTUS is seeking for a way to lower drug prices. No, we don't know this. He says it, but it never actually is made happen. And this person, I loved this picture. I thought that was really, really smart. It must be soul crushing to be an apologist for a mentally ill. I'm not going to read the rest of that. This person says, you're overthinking this. He says he can reduce prices by 1,000% because he's an uneducated idiot, too intellectually lazy to learn anything new, and too much of a narcissist to admit anything he says is wrong. Another stupid MAGA translator. Always needs a translation. MAGA. He says what he means. Okay, so like that's not what he meant. And you're just not getting it. You're just too brainwashed. You're just too liberal. You're just too woke. You know, Trump is a straight shooter, but like he also does the weave and he talks about a lot of different things. The self-awareness of MAGA to not realize that they are the heightened form of contradiction is unfathomable to me. And I'm saying this as someone who was raised that way. And you know what? It took a lot of diving deep into my soul to realize how much of my identity contradicted the other parts. I'm sorry, but being someone who is pro-contradiction, sweetheart, that is a recipe for mental instability. I love how people are like, yeah, he's a straight shooter. He says what he means. But then he also says this kind of crap. It's like, okay, well, which one is it? Which one is it? And so you understand that 100% off means it's free. So what is 1,000% off? And then this person said, don't forget that this platform is for free expression and respect for the audiences who read your opinions. Okay, pause. Make sure to send some likes, okay? So as soon as this person is confronted on the insanity of their comment, they're like, hey, free speech, free speech. Yes, yes, good. You have the right to be talking about it. But when people address the insanity of your response, how it doesn't make any sense, how it doesn't line up, then you have to then don't get all like clutch your pearls, be like, oh my God, it's just free speech. Well, that's not going to stop us from saying that it's stupid. Like, these people are like, oh, but that's just not speech. Yes, you have the right to say it. You do. But like, you're going to be called out upon it. And it's just funny. It's just funny. And so this person responded back with this. It's like, so we're free to express our opinion that you're a clown. Right? Always excuses MAGA for Trump, right? So, and you wonder why people say you're in a cult. So anyway, it's very much this. He didn't say that. And if he did, he didn't mean that. And if he did, well, you just didn't understand it. And if you did, like, it's not a big deal because, like, others have said worse. See, the reason why I do these things is not to try and tear anyone down. If you're one of these people, look, it's okay to admit that you were sucked into a cult, that you were sucked into this whole movement. It's okay to admit that, yes, I was actually a victim. MAGA, you are victims of Trump. You are. I don't know if people actually understand that. You are a victim of Donald Trump conning you. And it's the liberals and the Democrats that are like, hey, it doesn't affect us the fact that you buy 47 shirts and 15 yard flags and 16 yard signs and all this crap. But like, you're being looted by a con man that can sit in his ivory tower, his big new Trump ballroom with like all this gold crown molding and crap. You're being used. I used to be MAGA. You're being used. Anyway, but while we're talking about math, I also want to talk about one other moment here. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about speech. So you know how that was an interview with Martha McCallum? I don't know if that was like yesterday or the day before. I'd have to double check. But Donald Trump recently went over the Atlantic to Britain, to the UK, and he was welcomed at Windsor Castle. And this was in front of the Queen. This is in front of all the royal family, everyone, and stuff like that. Not the Queen, sorry. Just in front of the royal family. That all being said, he said, "It's a privilege to be the first American president welcomed here." This is his full quote. "It's a privilege to be the first president welcomed here. And if you think about it, a lot of presidents, and this was the second state visit, and that is the first, and maybe that's going to be the last time. I hope it is, actually." What? So he's saying that he's the first to visit, but that there have been others to visit, hoping that it's going to be the last time. Also, what's so funny is he also in that moment went off to say, "You know, I really appreciate, thank you for giving us a good footing, England. You gave us a good footing from the start." I addressed it in a video that I posted on TikTok and here on YouTube. But he's like, "Thank you, England, for giving us our footing when we started." They didn't give us anything. We fought for independence from them. Ugh. It's just... Oh, God. And, like, people are like, yeah, he's a straight shooter. Girl. Oh, God, he's a clown. But that all being said, it's like he's not the first person to be welcomed at Windsor Castle. Barack Obama, George W. Bush, Bill Clinton, the first Bush, George W. Bush and George H.W. Bush are both there. So even if he's not the first person, he has to be the first person. I was the first person, the only person. No other president has been there. Ronald Reagan even went there. The Queen receives President Obama on state visit to Britain. Like, explain that. I can't verify this, but it's funny if this is true. The Queen gave Trump 17 minutes in his first administration. Obama got dinner. I can't verify whether that's true or not, but this is the thing. Trump will just repeat lie after lie after lie after lie after lie until Trumpers, you decide to become so intellectually lazy, and because it's the path of least resistance to your identity, and you are raised to always be team red and not to question things whatsoever, you're just gonna be like, oh yeah, well, if he says it that many times, it must be true. Like, it's just, you're being used and brainwashed. Think critically for yourself. Go and look up, have any other presidents been to Windsor Castle? And you will find that, oh yeah, other people have been there. So the fact that Donald Trump says these things, he's just blatantly lying. This is just a small example that doesn't really have any big policy, big, consequences here, but it's just a perfect example of how much of a liar he is, a pathological liar. And see, it's just there are people that believe every single word. Have some respect for yourself. Have some respect for yourself. If you don't believe me, go and look it up. Go and look up, have other presidents ask Grok. Grok, the chatbot on X, owned by Elon Musk, set to be the world's first trillionaire. Go and ask Grok. It's just, it's humiliating for the MAGA people to have to bend over backwards to justify the insanity, try to rationalize the unrationalizable. And it's people like us that are trying to wake you up because you're being used. And it's dragging our country into possible authoritarianism. Because Trump wants to be a dictator. You are the mechanism for him to be a dictator. Do you think he cares about you? He didn't even talk about Charlie Kirk. When asked about Charlie Kirk, he literally was like, look at my ballroom. He doesn't care about anyone. He uses people like a tissue, soft, strong, disposable. He just tosses you out. This is what he's doing to America's farmers right now. These tariffs are crippling our farming industry, and they're like, oh crap, I didn't think that it would hurt me. Yeah, dude. Anyway, so it's just funny that one person was like, oh, he's obviously being dramatic. Free speech. Why don't we go and transition here to talking about speech for a second? Let's actually get there. Are there any comments that I need to address in the chat here? I appreciate all of you, even if you don't like me. If there are people that are trying to point out my sexuality and just say like gay or whatever, and stuff like that, then just ignore them because they're just stating a fact. So someone said, hey friend, take a mental health break from this BS news cycle. No, don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to do, friend. I'm here trying to inform you. Look, I'm not going to tell you what to do. Why do you want to tell me? Oh, sweetheart, the audacity is showing. Someone said, do your homework before you talk crap. You're saying that to me. That's so funny. Okay. Anyway, let's transition to another topic here. And this has to relate to, this is relating to Jimmy Kimmel. So personally, I actually don't really watch Jimmy Kimmel. I'm not someone that really follows him. I have watched more of like Stephen Colbert or Seth Meyers. I also like to watch more independent media like Mike Figueredo on the Humanist Report. I follow Secular Talk, Kyle Kulinski, Crystal Ball, Breaking Points. I follow a lot of David Dole of the Rational National. So I'm not someone that is super up to date on, more mainstream media news hosts. Though I want to talk about Jimmy Kimmel here for a minute. I'm in the middle. I was trying to post it on TikTok, but it was taking so long to upload. Do you all know the real reason why Jimmy Kimmel was deplatformed? Because I'll say this. The real reason is not because of his comments regarding Charlie Kirk. That's not the real reason. That's not the primary reason. Maybe it's a little bit in there. The real reason is because they saw this as a moment for further corporate media consolidation. So let me actually break all of this down a little bit. Let me break all this down a little bit. And I'm going to hide the chat away here for a second. Thank you for bringing some sanity to the world. Oh, thank you, Street Ninja. Oh, that's so nice. I love that name. Everyone, go check out Street Ninja. Someone says you're so full of crap. Love that. Every single piece of an accusation is always projection from these people. So let me break it all down here. And look, this isn't about this next segment. Don't think of it as in terms of like Democrat, Republican media. Don't fall into that. Think of this as purely just power and consolidation and like control. That's what it really turns out to be. So you all know that Jimmy Kimmel was recently suspended, or ABC suspends, Jimmy Kimmel here. So ABC announced on Wednesday that it has suspended Jimmy Kimmel Live to his comments made about Charlie Kirk. But see, that's not the main reason. And even the media corporations aren't doing a great job at actually really highlighting the real reason. The move came moments after Nexstar, which owns dozens of ABC affiliate stations across the country. They're the operations team, the people who broadcast and, get the grease going, grease the wheels for broadcasting places like ABC. They own dozens of ABC affiliated stations. They said that they were going to not put on Kimmel. And because Nexstar said, yeah, we don't want to do that, ABC was like, fine, then we'll just cancel him. So I want to talk a little bit about ABC, Disney, and Nexstar. Do people know what Nexstar is? Nexstar is they are the operations team. They own a lot of affiliated programs with ABC. They operate a lot of that. So if they don't like something, then ABC might just pull it. That's what happened with Jimmy Kimmel. So let me break it all down here. And you're like, well, why would they do this? What's their motive? What's their end goal here? So hold on a second. Let me scroll back here. Hours earlier, the Federal Communications Commission Chair, Brendan Carr, threatened ABC over comments Kimmel made about Kirk's alleged assassin. Because last month, President Donald Trump said that Kimmel and The Tonight Show, Jimmy Fallon, would be canceled next. So, basically, right now, Nexstar is actually trying to merge with another big local TV giant. So Nexstar and Tegna, Tegna are the two biggest owners of like affiliated news networks for local news. Right now, Tegna and Nexstar are trying to merge. If they merge, that would then mean that they would control 80% of all local news stations. Even if they operate as ABC, CBS, whatever. They would operate out all of those local news stations owned by one company. Gives you this illusion of choice. That's bad. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what their political ideology is. It doesn't matter what their political reporting is. It's bad when you have one group that owns and oversees a lot of stuff. One corporation. So right now, the reason why Jimmy Kimmel was canceled was because right now Nexstar is trying to suck up to the government. They're capitulating to the government. Right now, Trump is like, what are you going to do for me? What are you going to do for me? I won't let my FCC approve your merger until what are you going to do for me? They're like, okay, well, we'll throw Jimmy Kimmel under the bus whenever he says a comment that we can, pin on him. So Nexstar CEO Brennan Perry Sook was like, yeah, we want to merge. So when this all happens, we'll just blame Jimmy Kimmel for it. And so with all of this, in fact, seemingly alluding to the presumption that Donald Trump's handpicked Federal Communications Commission chief, Brendan Carr, would approve the deal despite current restrictions in place, Nexstar CEO Perry Sook heaped praise on the administration in his company's announcement of the deal. So you have Tegna and Nexstar trying to merge. And in the process, if they do, they'll own 80% of all local news stations. And I don't think I'm explaining this as well, so let me just read it all out here. So with Jimmy Kimmel being suspended, ABC, you're like, okay, I don't understand the setup here. ABC is owned by Disney. Disney owns a lot of other things as well. Okay? Disney owns ABC. Nexstar is the group that does all the operations. They're the one that owns the ABC affiliated stations. So they're the ones that actually pump out the news, local news wise. Nexstar CEO, Perry Sook, was like, all right, we really want to merge with this other group, Tegna. So we have to then suck up to the FCC. The FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, let me show you here in a second. All of my graphics are out of order, so that's why this is kind of a little bit more of an arduous thing here. The FCC is led by a guy named Brendan Carr. And this is the Federal Communications Commission. They're the one that approves of mergers. They're the ones that oversee the media licenses of different companies. And this guy, Brendan Carr, who runs the FCC, was an architect of Project 2025. He wrote this section on the FCC in Project 2025. And he is now the chairman of it. What he is wanting to do is, okay, well, what do you want from, basically, Nexstar is like, well, what can we do for you to approve our merger? They're like, well, why don't you just throw Jimmy Kimmel under the bus? And then we'll grant it to you. Now you're like, that's so far-fetched. This is the exact same thing that happened with Stephen Colbert. Like him or not, this is the exact same thing that happened with Stephen Colbert. So if you all remember, back in July, CBS canceled The Late Show with Stephen Colbert just weeks after Paramount, the network's parent company, paid Trump $16 million to settle a defamation lawsuit. So Paramount was like, yeah, I guess, and CBS was like, yeah, I guess we'll cancel The Late Show. And Paramount has been trying to merge with Skydance. Skydance is another media company. So Stephen Colbert and Jimmy Kimmel are like the sacrificial lambs for these bigger media corporations to then suck up to the FCC in order for them to merge. So as much as people want to say, oh, it's over Charlie Kirk's comments, it's really not. Over the comments about, no, they're just using that as an excuse. The real smoking gun is so that, oh, well, why don't we just cancel their shows so that we can appease the government? Y'all understanding? Are we on the same page here? Like, this is what is so dangerous. And it's not even about political ideology. It's not about the political opinions or their approach to reporting. Because let me also just show you, Nexstar is a pretty bipartisan organization. They donate to both Democrats and Republicans. So Nexstar, if you want to look at their campaign finance disclosures, which I did, they're pretty even. So, hold on just a second here. Like Nexstar Media Group, they're pretty bipartisan. They donate to Republicans just a little bit more. But like, this isn't about the political ideology of this group. It's about the fact that if they merge, if Nexstar and Tegna merge, they are going to control 80% of all local news stations. As Deadline Dade Hayes reported, the merger challenges the decade-old limits on control of local media, as the news company would control 265 local TV stations across 44 states and the District of Columbia, representing about 80% of American households. Now, this would far exceed the current limit put in place under the government of 39%, which has been in place for decades under both Democrat and Republican administrations. So they're trying to create a monopoly. This one company is trying to create a monopoly on local news. And in order to merge, they're like, okay, well, what can we do to appease the FCC? They said, get rid of these news hosts. Make it for some comments that they said, but just get rid of them when the time is right. And once you do that, we'll approve your mergers. So we've been seeing this corporate media consolidation happening more and more over the years. So while it used to be Paramount and Skydance, now it's Paramount, a Skydance corporation. Back in 1983, you had like 90% of American media was owned by 50 different companies. In 2011, it was only 6. And it's only gotten worse from there. It gives this illusion of choice, believing that, oh, there's so many different options. The same way that you go into a grocery store and you can go along a different shelf and a whole bunch of products are owned by Nestle. That's how this corporate media consolidation works. They have, or Procter and Gamble is another example. You go down the bathroom section of a store and you have toothpaste, you have toothbrushes, you have everything from different soaps and shampoos and all that stuff. A lot of those things are owned by Procter and Gamble, but they have different brands under it. Did you know that the people who own Tide also own Gain? They're 2 separate companies, but they're both owned by Procter and Gamble. It gives this illusion of choice. And so this is what's happening further and further in our country. And look, these corporations, the media corporations, could say, you know what? We're not going to suck up to the government and throw anyone under the bus in order to just merge. But see, these corporations are fueled by money. They don't care about ideology. They don't care about morality. They don't care about fact-based reporting. They don't care about anything other than whatever is going to help their shareholders and their bottom line. So if that means that they're going to throw Stephen Colbert under the bus when it's convenient, or when they're going to throw Jimmy Kimmel under the bus when it's convenient, then they're going to do it. And they're going to do it to appease a dictator, to appease the FCC in order to have it be done. They're motivated by greed and avarice. That's what it really is. So when people say, oh yeah, Jimmy Kimmel was canceled over his comments about Charlie Kirk, honestly, no. That's just a convenient excuse for them to have finally pulled the trigger. The real reason why Jimmy Kimmel was deplatformed was because they're like, well, Trump doesn't like him, so you know what we're gonna do? We're just gonna cancel his show because ABC is trying to get approval from the FCC in order to merge. You know what ABC could decide to do? You know what Nexstar could decide not to do? Just not merge. Why do you need more and more corporate media consolidation? Why? We do not need more and more control to be in the hands of just a few people at the top. And it doesn't matter what those few people believe in or like. It's more about the fact that this is unstable for our democracy, unstable for our republic. It doesn't bode well for our system to have so many people have so little control and only a few people have so much control. And for the people who are trying to make this about, oh, your side versus my side, this isn't one of those sides discussions. This is about power. It shouldn't matter in that instance right now. It's more about the power and the control. So, anyway. Your statement is what I call full of shit. Oh my God, you're so funny. You're so funny. I literally am laying out the receipts here and you don't believe me. It's not my fault that you have the inability to listen. Like, you have the inability to listen to anything. You're just like, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. Do you really think that trust me, bro, politics is the way to go? These people are so funny. These people are so funny. So anyway, I also am going to have to get to work here in about like 10 or so minutes. And I really appreciate every single one of you. So it's just, I wanted to put that up here because in reality, Jimmy Kimmel was basically thrown under the bus in order for Nexstar, in order to merge with Tegna. And I have a video coming out about it here soon. So anyway, I appreciate every single one of you. Please make sure to like the video. I do have to get to work. I appreciate all of you so much. Shout out to my amazing moderators. I could not do this without my mods. I hope that was all easy to understand. I have a video coming out about it. So I appreciate all of you. If you're one of these people that is being rude and nasty in the comments, seriously, do something better with your time, okay? Minding your own business is free. You don't have to agree with my takes, but don't be nasty. Don't be nasty. I appreciate every single one of you. Shout out to my amazing moderators, Kantisa, Akicha, Ilisa, Ellie, Cherie. I cannot do any of it without you all. Jenny, Kate. Seriously, it means so much to have such a strong mod squad, keeping the space civil. So, love you. And thank you to also all the super chats. Y'all are incredible. I appreciate every single one of you. Now, just remember that you are beautiful, you are loved, you are valid, you are strong, and you are fierce. Don't let anyone or anything ever dim your shine. I love all of you so much. Bye!